Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys we are going to be talking about why it is important to pay attention to the OCG meta and new cards that are coming out in the OCG and just looking for trends in the OCG. So why overall is it important to play what's happening over in Japan in the OCG overall? That's what we're going to be talking about today. Why should you be paying attention? So I know that our ban list and the OCG ban lists are completely different. And ever since, 2013, they've gotten more and more different each and every year, where to some extent our games are completely different because of the card pool for the OCG versus the TCG, and the fact that we get TCG exclusives that the OCG doesn't have, and the OCG has OCG exclusives that take a long time sometimes to get over here. So the game and the card pool are completely different sometimes. It can be vastly different, like a cavern or a Grand Canyon to some extent. But why is it important to still pay attention? That's the main question and topic for this video. The reasons for that, and even though the fact of the matter is that only once, I guess you could say like once a year at Worlds do our ban lists pretty much come together, the reason why it's still important to pay attention to the OCG is because of trends and new stuff coming out and what's meta. Because usually, if we're going to get a deck or a archetype that is in the main set and is not an OCG exclusive, and if it's doing good over in the OCG, usually by the time it gets over here to the TCG, it will be a good deck. It will be a meta deck. So for example, Necros over in the OCG did very good, and then when it came over here to the TCG, they were a meta deck. Monarchs, good OCG deck. Came over here, good TCG deck. ABC, pretty good OCG deck. Come over here, good TCG deck. So usually, it's very true that these trends are true. Now sometimes you do have outliers, kind of like to some extent, even though I played the deck, Dark Lords, where they did very good in the OCG, but they didn't do so good over here in the TCG. They didn't catch on fire like they did. You see things like, I forget what it's called, but Dark Synchro Dot deck. That was really popular over in the OCG, but when it came over here, it wasn't so hot. So even though some trends are, fail, usually if you're a good player and you can look at cards and say, that's a good card, that's a good card, that works well together, that works well together, and you see it constantly topping over in the OCG, that usually means it's going to be a meta deck in 3 to 4 months over here, if it's going to be coming out in a main set, or a set we have a feeling it's going to come out in. Number two, another reason why it's important to pay attention to the OCG is you can see what new things will be coming out. So it may not be coming out in the OCG for like 2-3 more weeks, and it may be another 4 months before it comes out then. But if that's the case, you can prepare yourself, and you can also pick up cards early. One of the main reasons I even pay attention to the OCG is to figure out what is going to come out next. So even though it may be a year from now, 5 months from now, whatever the case may be, when that comes over here to the TCG, I can just pick up those new cards, use the cards that I brought before, put my deck together, and away I can go. I'm all ready to go right then and there. Put the key in the ignition and start her up, because I've already play tested it. I've already picked up the cards in real life, so I'm all ready to go for it. So it's really, really amazing that if you just pay attention to just cards that are getting released or announced, you can build things up early. Like, I saw that they were going to have a dinosaur structure deck back in November. I saw they were going to have a dinosaur structure deck coming out. I made a video on the channel talking about that. I talked about this time last year, I was like, well, if we're going to begin a set dedicated to Blue Eyes White Dragon, and if we've had one dedicated to Red Eyes, well, probably the next one's going to be dedicated to Dark Magician. And what happened? It got dedicated to Dark Magician. So I picked up all my Dark Magician support I thought I could need running my Spellcaster stuff, brought it, built the deck right when Dark Magician came out by picking up the new cards. Same thing with Blue Eyes White Dragon. Picked it up because I knew exactly what I was going to play with Blue Eyes White Dragon. Also, I had most of the stuff. So that's what I'm saying. If you pay attention, you can build decks right away more quickly. Number 2, play testing. By playing, knowing a deck's going to be coming out down the road, it's perfectly okay to be testing that deck out if you know it's going to be coming out. That way, when you go to locals or regionals or YCS, you already have experience playing that deck, while a lot of opponents may be seeing that deck for the first time and never have played against it. And that's something I used to do all the time when I had more time than Game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Was I would look at OCG decks, apply them to the current ban list over here, if those cards were out right now, and play the decks right away. So by doing that, I had a better advantage when I was playing against opponents that didn't know what I was doing. I knew how card interactions work with other cards already. So I'm not saying I was trying to cheat people or anything. I'm just saying I had that edge and that knowledge, which knowledge is very key in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! To gain an advantage over my opponent. The number 3 thing is I've already talked about investing. I've talked about investing, how it can help you be a better player just when the cards come out. And one of the other things I'll mention very quickly, guys, is just overall it's a good thing, and it can make you kind of excited to see things come out. And overall, in general, it's just a good investment. It's kind of like I've always looked at when I look at the OCG, I'm looking at it as I would if I was looking at the stock market, because sometimes card prices over here will go up because of what's happening in the OCG. That's happening more and more each year, I notice. Things will just go up because tech cards are coming out for a deck that's not going to be out for 4 months. So on that aspect, you could actually make some money for things going up in price. If you have the cards, you're like, oh, well, that's going up because that's over in the OCG, but the deck's not coming out for 4 months, and I doubt it's going to do anything, so let me sell these cards to people that want them and make a couple, $20, $15, $30, maybe $10, $15 profit. That sounds good to me, because you're paying attention to it, you can make some money off it as well. So those are my reasons why it's very important to look at the OCG. Gives you advantage, can help you make money, and also just gives you knowledge in general, which is very important in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! That way, when this new set comes out, you'd be like, okay, I know what cards I want to pick up. Especially if you've been playing the OCG and you play it online, you'd be like, okay, I know exactly what ratio of what cards and what cards I need, what ratio, what cards I need of those. Let me rephrase all that. Sorry about that. So pretty much what you can do is this: you say, I want 3 of these, I want 2 of those of that card. It helps you be able to fine tune your deck, so when it does come out, you can pick up those cards more easily. Hope that explained it better. But those are just my thoughts, guys, on why you should pay attention to the OCG meta. Tell me, guys, I know probably a lot of you guys already pay attention, but this video is geared just to everyone that doesn't play. Look at the OCG meta and why you should, because literally it will help you be a better player. Now, as I end this video here, I always keep my ear out and pay attention to the OCG meta because I see the ratios and everything. So I always try to have my hand in the cookie jar, so to speak. I'm paying attention. I may not be playing that deck that's not going to be out for 4 months right now, but when it gets closer to that time frame, like maybe 3 weeks out, a month out from that deck being released, I'll start playing it then, so that way I gain advantage. I'm not one of those type of people that, oh, it's not coming out for 4 months, or we don't know when that card's going to be coming out because it's an OCG exclusive. It could be a year from now. So I'm not going to be playing it then, but if I know for a fact that card's going to be coming out soon, then yeah, I'll go right ahead and play it, because that way it gives me knowledge. So that's just another thing I'll mention. But till next time, guys, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling, and tell me what you guys think. Do you actually pay attention to the OCG meta, or are you like me where you just pay attention but you don't always play it until it gets closer to that time frame of it getting released over here? But till next time, guys, take care, everybody, and good luck dueling to all of you.